How you doing? We're going to do Come On Get Higher by Matt Nathanson. I do this with a capo on the first fret, but for the purposes of this example, I'm going to just keep it in open position. I don't know if he capoed it or not, I can't quite remember. This is what I call the modern rock pop chords for acoustic guitar. There's a lot in the video series. Wonderwall is another one that does this one. Anyway, there's several songs that I'm going to do that have the 3 and the 4 fingers are basically going to stay here for most of the whole song. On the 3rd fret on the D note and on the 3rd fret on the G note here. And what you're going to start with is a G over B, first finger on the B note, and you're not going to hit the low string, and you're going to have this sound. And then you're going to take the 2nd finger, put it on the C note, drop the 1st finger down to the E, and you've got C at 9. And then we're going to go to G5, and you can see how this just goes over to the G and the B. You can play the B or not. Sometimes it's a little muddy down there. I kind of mute that out. So we've got this. And there's your first 3 chords, and that's the main bit of the song, the verse and the intro. And what I've got, the rhythm is a really nice little rhythm. It goes 1 with a single note pick, and then we get the chords. We've got 2, ah, 3, E, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, E, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3, E, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3, E, and 4, and a 1, 2, 3, E, and 4, and what am I saying? E, ah, what is all that? Okay, here. If you haven't worked with the 16th note examples, you should probably go back and look at those videos, but I'll go over quickly. 16th notes. There are 4 16th notes in each quarter note, and we verbalize them 1, E, and ah. So if you see the first one and the last one in there, which would be an 8th note with a dot and then a 16th note, it's 1, ah, 1, ah, and you don't say these. So it's the first. That's actually falls on beat 2 in this song. So we've got 1 as a quarter note. Beat 2, it is an 8th note with a dot, which is the value of 3/16. Then you have a 16th note. So it's 1, 2, ah, and it falls at the very end of the 2 beat, right before the 3 beat. So it sounds like 1, 2, ah, 3 E and. Because now why 3 E and? Well, we've got 2 16th notes, then an 8th note. So that last 8th note takes the value of the last 16th note, 3 E and. And then in beat 4, we have 4 and a. So you take this one out, 4 is an 8th note, takes the value of that 16th note, 4 and a. So you come up with 1, 2, 3 E and, 4 and a. If you feel strange verbalizing like that, get over it. That's what I would say. I mean, all the drummers that I've hung around with, they would verbalize and do these kind of E and on some, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's how you understand rhythm. It was strange for me at first too, but even if you're thinking it, if you don't feel comfortable saying it out loud, that's okay. But you really, really want to get used to what are those 16th notes and write them in there. Think about it. Really get deep in that. Rhythms for songs are not random. You see people just strumming along. They're not randomly strumming. Each song has a very specific rhythmic pattern. That's why I write out the scores for you instead of just playing videos and just strumming along. I mean, I painstakingly put these in here for you to follow. The good thing about it, most songs have like a basic 1 or 2 measure pattern that flows throughout the tune. This one in particular has, you know, basically that 1 measure pattern. It just repeats. So once you get the 1, 2, 3 E and 4 and a, it rolls throughout the tune. Okay, enough about rhythm. We'll go to the verse. Here's the pattern. And it repeats. And it repeats again. You'll notice on the, if you can't get that where there's a down on the single note, up on the chord, and back to the single note, it's a little tricky. Don't worry about it. You can just strum. Just look at the rhythm and the notation and say, okay, well, it's 3 E and 4 and. I'm just going to strum the chord. And eventually, you really should try to get that articulation. It's just a lot. It just sounds better, you know. There's a lot more velocity changes rather than me going. I mean, around a campfire that might be okay, but you're not going to perform it that way. Okay, then it goes to a D chord, measure 10. You're going to go. Pre-chorus, C add 9, G5, E minor 7, D sus4 over F sharp. Okay, we'll go back. E minor 7, measure 13. These two fingers stay here. First finger on the B note, like this. It's kind of like a G over B. But now we're going to hit that low E and it becomes E minor 7. Then, D sus4 over F sharp. Well, the D sus4, second finger will play the A note, and the first finger is going to come over and play that F sharp. It's a really nice big chord there. Pre-chorus again. Chorus, we're going to go to the C add 9 to the G5, back and forth 3 times, and then E minor 7 to the D sus4 over F sharp. I'll do it slow. So you see how he increased the frequency of the chords in the chorus. So instead of just playing the C add 9 chord for the whole measure, halfway between, he went from C to G. So it's like this. Same strum pattern. Bridge. C add 9, E minor 7, G5, D, C add 9, E minor 7, D, now D over F sharp. There's very few occasions where I do the reach around the thumb. This is one of them. I just like the way that it sounds, and I don't want to lose that F sharp on top. So I'm going to go measure 25, measure 26. Again, if you ever see a situation like that where it's D and then D over F sharp or something like that, and you're really having trouble doing that, stay on a D chord. It's not going to matter if I just went. I just try to create variation, just a little bit more interesting, especially if you're doing like a solo acoustic guitar gig or even a duo. Just more variation. Okay, the break part is the same as the intro, which is the verse too. So, and he does that kind of quietly, you know, and builds it back up into the chorus. Okay, so again, this falls under the modern pop rock category in my opinion, where you've got basically just two fingers holding this pretty much the whole time, except for when you go to a D chord. And it creates a very nice kind of a, I don't want to say drone, but it kind of creates a continuity between all the chords, and it makes it easier to play. So it's a really great sound. I love this song. He's just a really great artist, Matt Nathanson, called Come On Get Higher. I'm just going to go ahead and play through some of it here on the way out of the video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope that was interesting about the rhythms and things like that. Again, usually one song has a particular rhythm that you can latch onto and play that throughout the song. So, you know, really try to dive in there and get that rhythm for each individual song. Don't be lazy and just strum whatever you want. It's really not going to, in the long run, you know, it's going to make each song sound individualistic with that rhythm. And the drummer's going to like you for it too, because they play specific patterns. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.